Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Sean.
And I'm Corrine.
And what are we up to today, Corrine?
Well, today we are going to a little place called Little Finland. It's back on some old rutted roads, some of them paved, some of them dirt. And so we're just going on a bit of an adventure to see some interesting rock formations.
Yep, and we're doing a little overlanding, and we're going to do a little bit of that filming as well, and add that to the video. One of the things that Corrine and I love about living in the Southwest is being able to get out and explore these incredible backcountry roads, and we just have a blast doing that.
Today we're using a different vehicle to do our overlanding. This is our latest ride while we're waiting for our van to be ready. And so we're out in the four-wheel drive.
As Corrine said, this is our new four-wheel drive Jeep Rubicon. We just had it further outfitted. We've added some 37-inch tires, a 3.5-inch lift, a bumper, and a winch on the front so that we have a little bit more capability. We also added a bunch of lighting. One of the things that Corrine and I have discovered over the years is we tend to be out after dark, and being able to see things is really critical. So we're hoping this is going to give us a little bit more, or it's going to expand our ability to get out a little more over Red Rover did. And as Corrine also indicated, we're waiting for a new van that's also going to be an overlander, but more about that later.
So we're out in a portion of the Mojave Desert, and we got some lovely green Joshua trees here. It's been a wet winter, so I think they got a good drink, and they're looking pretty good. A little too early for flowering yet. Got lots of creosote bushes, which are typical of the area. And we're going to go see a lot more interesting rocks.
One of the other pieces of equipment that we added to the truck was an ARB tire inflation system. Now here I am deflating the tires. Typically these tires run at about 35 psi. I'm currently lowering the pressure in the tire down to around about 17 psi. That seemed to be pretty well on this trip. It's soft enough that it's not too badly affected by the sharp stones. Gives me good traction and generally really improves the ride. So Corrine and I are out in the desert. Actually, we're high desert right now. And most of the roads where we are really not terribly difficult. There's a lot of what I'd like to describe as rock gardens. These are roads that just have sort of tiny, medium-sized little rocks that you're driving over. We're right now actually driving, we've left that road, and we're now driving down a old wash. And I actually like these the best. They tend to be a little bit smoother, although this isn't a very good example. They also tend to have, increasingly interesting things to look at as we go down this hill and down this little track right now. One of the things I love about the backcountry is you never quite know what you're going to come across. Here's this old corral, but it's actually quite beautiful today against those red mountains. Here we are coming down the final road into the Little Finland area. As you can see, it's red-brown dirt. This stuff is fine when it's dry, but when it gets wet, this is very, very treacherous. So we had a beautiful day and it was quite straightforward. Little Finland is characterized by these incredibly beautiful rock formations. They are absolutely gorgeous to photograph, and as you can see, we had absolutely gorgeous sky that day. It was going to be a lot of fun doing some photography back here. But we weren't here just to photograph the beautiful fins. We were actually back here to do a specific project. But before you get up into the big fins and interesting rock formations, you're going to have to do a little hiking. As you can see here, Crean's hiking the path. This path has been heavily eroded over the last year or so. There's been a lot of water back here, and you can see the path is very, very wet. This path leads to a set of rocks that you scramble up, and those are what lead up into the formations.
So you might wonder why I've gone to the trouble of hiking up here with this skirt and blouse on. And Sean and I are doing a little bit of creative landscape photography, maybe a little bit of portrait. I've been up here on the Little Finland rocks and doing some poses to get silhouettes. We've done both myself, and then we've done Sean with his very cool Indiana Jones hat on.
So Crean and I have been doing a series of silhouettes, and you can see her, the Crean in silhouette on the back of my camera. And if I pan up here, there she is, up there. And we have a beautiful sky behind her tonight. So there's some yellows and not really pinks and not so much grays and yellows, and kind of an interesting set of clouds behind her, which really highlights and adds to the silhouette. But when we're doing this kind of a shot, it's we've had to do a couple of things. One of the things you'll notice, there's a mountain there behind Crean. Crean can point to the mountain. Point to the mountain. There you go. The mountain's off that way. So we've had to take the shots so that we are facing the opening, which Crean, point to the opening. Well, actually, she's pointing, you can't see her. There we go. She's pointing to the opening now. It's just off in that direction. So what we've had to do is set the shots up so that we've got the opening more in the background. Now, a little bit of a challenge to that is the sun is actually a little over Crean's, her right shoulder right now. Yeah, she's sort of pointing off to it. And in some ways, you don't get as quite the silhouette we wanted to. We would have preferred the sun to have been a little bit further to our right. Or if it's going to be over there, there's a big dark black cloud there that's filtering the light, which is actually making it harder to get a silhouette. The settings we're using aren't very unusual. We're shooting aperture priority, shooting about f11, somewhere between f9 and f16. I've got my light compensation down a little bit, maybe about 2/3 of a stop. And I'm shooting about ISO 100. And the trick is the focus is set at Crean. So we'll have a bit of a soft focus in front and maybe a bit of a soft focus behind. And again, one of the key things that actually really help get this silhouette is if I back off here a little bit, you can see that my camera is actually down really low. And that really helps us get more sky and just a little bit of the rock. So anyway, we'll have to see how these come out. I'm sure we'll show you in just a minute. One of the challenges for doing this kind of shoot in these really sharp, difficult rocks is getting up and getting down. It's even more difficult if you're wearing a skirt and you stand on your skirt from time to time. Green's laughing about it, but she's almost done a couple of headers off the rocks a few times, so I'm actually glad to see her coming down from the top part. And here are a few of the photographs that we took that evening. We sure hope you enjoy them. take my word for it, but there was a moon right up there. A big, full, bright yellow moon. And Karina and I had just come down from doing our silhouettes. We had actually brought our 100 to 500 millimeter zoom camera, and we got really lucky. We got actually a chance to get a shot with the moon in one of the notches up there. Just absolutely beautiful. Just enough light left from the setting sun to make the rocks nice and red, and just absolutely gorgeous. It's always a challenge with doing landscape photography, coming out in the dark. You and I are pretty capable and experienced doing this, but even with our experience, it's real easy to make a mistake.
And we got on tracking software.
And Green's got tracking software, so if we really get ourselves turned around, at least we can use that. And actually, yes, this does turn to the right. It just doesn't end here. Whoop, I better pay attention. Well, Karina and I made it back to the truck. We're just gearing up now to head home. We're going to find out if we've... oh yeah, we've got some beautiful new lights. I'm going to turn it around here so you can see it. And the whole sky is lit up in front of us to make it a lot easier to get out of this beautiful area. Anyway, that's about it. We're probably not going to do any more video tonight unless we get to some interesting spot. Take care. Good night. Well, Karine, what did you think of the evening?
I had some fun. It took a little while to find the right spot to do the silhouette, but we got some pretty good pictures. What I wanted to mention is that the reason we were working on silhouettes tonight was because we belong to a camera club, and each month we get an assignment that we have to do. What's nice about that is it makes you stretch your capabilities, try new things, exercise your brain on new exercises,
Yeah.
and really challenge yourself to go outside your norms.
And actually shooting silhouettes tonight, actually, we had to think about it a little bit. A lot of planning went into it to get to a location where we get some interesting rocks and areas that would really complement the silhouette. So it was a fun evening. It was good to do that. We also got some shots of the moon, and unfortunately we couldn't film that because we were hustling trying to get the moon shots.
Yeah, it was only out a short time before it went into some overhead clouds.
So anyway, well, we sure hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we really appreciate everyone who's subscribed already.
Right, and by now you probably know what to do with the bell button.
Yeah. We love your questions and comments and thoughts, and we read them all. So if you want to put anything down below in the comment section, we'll really appreciate it and love to hear from you.
And let us know if you're liking or enjoying the overland sections that we're adding to these videos. We're trying to spice them up a little bit, and we'd sure like to know if you're enjoying them. And we'll do a lot more of them if you are. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.